Have you ever felt that sudden physical dread the moment someone says, "I'm coming over"? Your mouth automatically says, "Sure, that sounds great," but your brain immediately screams, "Oh God, no." You scan the room, the laundry, the dishes, the weird stain on the rug. But deep down, it's not really about the mess, is it? It's about the exposure. You feel like someone just asked to read your diary out loud. Because your home isn't just a physical space, it's a 3D map of your inner world. And the thought of someone walking through that space, judging it, or just existing in it, it feels like handing someone an X-ray of your soul and asking them to rate it out of 10. That hesitation, that's not social anxiety. That's intelligence. Let me explain. Society has trained us to believe that people who love hosting are generous, warm, socially competent, and people who hate hosting, they're selfish, closed off, difficult. But what if I told you that your resistance to having guests over isn't a social deficiency, it's actually a sign of heightened self-awareness and a deeply developed sense of boundaries? I mean, think about it. The people who can effortlessly throw open their doors and host dinner parties without breaking a sweat, they're not necessarily more confident than you. They've just learned to perform hospitality. They've internalized the social script. They know the choreography. But you see through the performance. You recognize that hosting isn't just about sharing space, it's about managing other people's comfort, their judgments, their expectations. It's emotional labor disguised as fun. And here's the thing, your reluctance isn't about hating people, it's about protecting your energy. There's this concept in sociology called front stage and backstage behavior. A guy named Irving Goffman introduced it in his book, The Presentation of Self in Everyday Life. And basically, Goffman argued that we all perform different versions of ourselves depending on the context. The front stage is where we act for an audience, at work, at parties, in public. The backstage is where we drop the mask. It's where we're unfiltered, unpolished, authentically ourselves. Your home is your backstage. It's the one place where you don't have to perform, where you can exist without an audience. And when you invite someone in, you're not just showing them your furniture, you're collapsing the boundary between your front stage and backstage. You're inviting the performance into the one space where it shouldn't exist. And that's exhausting. Now here's where it gets interesting. Because we live in a world that's obsessed with openness, with sharing, with proving that you're living your best life by documenting every brunch, every aesthetic corner of your apartment, every carefully curated bookshelf. Social media has turned everyone's home into a stage set. People don't live in their spaces anymore, they perform in them. But you've resisted that. You've kept your space sacred, and that makes you dangerous, not to other people, to the algorithm, to the culture of constant visibility, because you've figured out something that billions of dollars in marketing are designed to make you forget. You don't owe anyone access to your private life. Now, I know what you're thinking, but I'm not watching this video to feel superior. I'm watching it because I feel guilty, because I canceled on my friend again, because I said my apartment was too messy when really, I just didn't want them there. And here's your loophole. Watching this video isn't the same as doom scrolling. You're not numbing yourself, you're seeking understanding. You're trying to figure out why you feel the way you feel. That's self-reflection, not avoidance. That's growth. And the fact that you're here, listening to this, means you care about your relationships. You're not a hermit, you're just selective about how and where you connect. Because here's the truth that no one wants to say out loud. Hosting is a performance. And you're tired of performing. Think about what actually happens when you have guests over. You clean for hours, not because your place is dirty, but because you're anticipating judgment. You plan the food, the drinks, the seating arrangements. You worry about conversation lulls. You monitor everyone's comfort level. You become a cruise director in your own home. And then, after they leave, you collapse. Not because you hate people, but because you just spent 3 hours managing a social theater production where you were the director, stage manager, and lead actor all at once.
Meanwhile, the people who love hosting, they've either made peace with the performance or they genuinely enjoy it, and that's fine. But you don't have to be like them, because what you value isn't the appearance of hospitality, it's the substance of connection. There's this philosopher, Carl Jung, who talked about the difference between extroverted and introverted energy. But it's not about being shy or outgoing, it's about where you direct your energy and where you recharge. Extroverts gain energy from external stimulation. Introverts lose energy from it, even if they enjoy it in the moment. And your home? Your home is your recharge station. It's not a venue, it's a sanctuary. And when you let people into your sanctuary, you're not just sharing space, you're sharing your energy reserves. You're offering up the very thing you need to survive in a world that's constantly demanding you be on. So when you say no to having guests over, you're not being antisocial, you're practicing self-preservation. Now, let's talk about the myth of quantity over quality. We live in a culture that measures social success by metrics. How many friends do you have? How many people came to your party? How many likes did your aesthetic living room get? But here's what nobody tells you. 5 real friends who you meet at a neutral location and have deep, meaningful conversations with are worth infinitely more than 100 acquaintances who've seen your kitchen. Because intimacy isn't about access, it's about presence. You can have someone over to your house and never actually connect with them. They can compliment your decor, eat your food, sit on your couch, and leave without ever really seeing you. But you can meet someone at a park, a cafe, a quiet corner of the world, and share something real, something that doesn't require a clean countertop or a cheese board. The people who hate having guests over aren't antisocial. They're just tired of confusing hospitality with connection. They've realized that the best relationships aren't built in Instagram-worthy living rooms. They're built in honesty, in vulnerability, in spaces, physical or emotional, where both people feel safe. And sometimes that space is anywhere but home. Here's the conclusion that you need to hear. You haven't been missing out. You've been protecting something sacred. While everyone else was turning their homes into content, into performance spaces, into Airbnb-ready showrooms, you kept yours private. You kept it real. You kept it yours. And that's not a flaw. That's wisdom. The world will try to convince you that you're supposed to be open, accessible, available at all times, that your worth is measured by how many people you let in. But the truth is this. Your worth isn't determined by how many guests you host. It's determined by how well you know yourself, by how fiercely you protect your peace, by how intentional you are about where and how you share your energy. So the next time someone asks to come over and you feel that flicker of resistance, don't apologize. Don't make excuses. Just remember, you're not broken, you're boundaried. And in a world that profits from your openness, that's the most radical thing you can be. You figured it out before everyone else. And your home? It was never meant to be a stage. It's your backstage. And you get to decide who earns a ticket.